evening, everybody, and welcome to Chelmsford Tonight. This is the show where we highlight the people and places that make Chelmsford and the surrounding areas such a great place to live and work. I'm Karen Woodrow, owner of Visiting Angels Senior Home Care right here in Chelmsford, and I'll be your host. This weekend, our nation honors the birthday of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Dr. King was the prominent leader in the American Civil Rights Movement. Here with me now are Pastor Kenneth Young from the Calvary Baptist Church and Cherrice Lattimore, Chelmsford resident, Calvary Baptist Church member,
Yes.
and a member of the Chelmsford Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee.
Yes.
Welcome to Chelmsford Tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
So it's great to talk to you. We're here to talk about celebrating the life of Reverend King, right?
Yes.
So you're having a celebration at your church this Saturday, January 14th. And before we talk about what that celebration is going to include, tell us a little bit about the church. I know it has a long history in the area.
Yes, thank you so much for having us once again, and thank you for asking about our history. It does have a long withstanding history in the Merrimack Valley. As far as we know, Calvary is the oldest black church, African-American church in the Merrimack Valley. We celebrated 150 years about 2 years ago, so we're going on 152 years now. And so we're just excited about the legacy that members placed there in Haverhill, but among other people in the Merrimack Valley, and how it has blossomed from 1871 until now.
And you've done a lot of renovation on the building. I think it was just like an old shed or a barn or something, and you've done some renovations, and it's a really beautiful structure now.
Yeah, so initially it was a prayer cottage, and so you had freed people that came from the South.
From Virginia, that's who started
correct.
it?
Enslaved people from Virginia that came from the South, and they came up to the Bradford section of Haverhill, and they wanted to come together as most African Americans. The church becomes not only just a place of worship or a sanctuary, but it also becomes a community center. And so that's what happened. They began to pray, and Reverend Edmund Kelly, who was known in the area to plant black churches in New England, came and he organized the church and planted Calvary Baptist Church. And so we've gone through a few iterations of places in Haverhill, but we've been at 13 Ashland Street for over 100 years.
So we're lucky he planted it in Merrimack Valley.
Yes.
How many members do you have?
Oh, on the road we have at least over 115, 120 members.
And you draw from
Active members, I would say.
And you draw from the wider community, not just Haverhill.
Correct. Yes.
As Cherrice can
Yes.
attest from
Eureka, North Chelmsford.
commuting from the area.
Yes. Lowell. Yes.
Beverly. I mean, we can kind of run the list of people in the greater Merrimack Valley or Merrimack Valley area that actively attend Calvary Baptist Church.
That's great. So Saturday you're having your first celebration for MLK. How did this event come about, and what can we expect to happen that day?
It was the brainchild of Pastor Young, and I had some reservation at first, and when he started talking about it and we started planning parts of it, was like, yeah, this was the right thing to do. How can you be the oldest African-American church in the Merrimack Valley and not tell your story about Martin Luther King Jr.? And so I'll let him share the rest, because it definitely was his vision.
Yes, and I'm so glad that we've been able to partner, and she's been a wonderful partner to pull this off. And so we're just excited about it. But I think the biggest thing was that if you look at mass media, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King has been almost painted as a SJW, a social justice warrior. And he was much more than that, especially to black people. Being from the South and being from Georgia, his home state, I knew growing up that this is someone to look forward to. This is one of the reasons why I came to the Boston area to go to school, because of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. And so he started out in a black Baptist church, Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta, under his father's direction. And so going to Morehouse, which is a historically black college university, joined the first African-American fraternity in Alpha Phi Alpha Incorporated. And so these are the building blocks to what we've seen later on in his life. So we wanted to make sure that that's highlighted because that's important.
Yeah,
That's his foundation.
I mean, he was motivated to become a reverend because of other reverends that were talking about equality and civil rights. But he was more than that, and especially in your church, you honor that. He was very well educated. As you said, he was educated here in Boston.
Yeah, Boston University.
Yeah, and you tip your hat to that. In your church, there, I understand that you do scholarships for
Yes,
students?
and so we do scholarships, and we've done several scholarships. I'm sure Cherrice can talk more about that as well. She's been a part of the scholarship committee. But we've Calvary has sent students out of its place for decades, and Syracuse, University of South Carolina, University of Chicago, Oberlin College, I mean, Morehouse, Spelman, the list goes on.
MIT.
MIT, yeah, as students have come into Calvary. And that's not only a part of our legacy, but I think it meshes well with the legacy of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, but also the legacy of the Black church. And I think that needs to be highlighted. Once again, it's not just a place that you come in on a Sunday morning. This is a Sunday through Saturday thing that is happening, and we're grooming people and preparing our younger people for a better life than what we have.
Absolutely.
So the church has become a community center, and this is where you're having the celebration. So in the day's festivities, I understand that Cherrice is developing an art gallery with a lot of tributes to Dr. King.
Yes, and first of all, I want to thank the Mass Cultural Council as well as the Haverhill Cultural Council for providing a grant for us to really present this art gallery. We're transforming our fellowship hall into this really nice place where you can come and learn more about Martin Luther King Jr. Oftentimes, you know, you come, you hear the songs, but you really don't get the information. So we have pictures, a gallery, information. We have our kids who have drawn pictures from the younger and wrote a few essays. And it's a nice way to kind of highlight some of the civil rights movement in an art form, you know, so it's really nice. It's been great working with the women that I've assembled together. Sheila Upchurch, who is from Methuen, Lawrence, and we have Sherry Lyle, who lives in Chelmsford, as well as Willie Russell, who is in Methuen, and Shirley McAfee. So all these people are part of the Merrimack Valley, and we're all coming together to put together this beautiful art presentation.
You can really immerse yourself in his words and in his presence,
yes.
and feel like you're in his presence.
That's right.
And I think one of the highlights of the day, if we can talk about the guest choir that you're having and show a little clip of them, it is Elder Terrence Haynes and the Voices of Praise, and let's watch a little bit of the clip. So it looks like it's going to be a really nice event. Thank you so much, Pastor Young and Cherrice, for being here and sharing the history of your church and for letting us all know about what's going on Saturday. I hope you have a lot of people from the community enjoying the event. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much. And I really hope everyone comes out and, collaborate and come and enjoy this wonderful festivity for the first time that we're presenting it. So great.
I'm sure they will.
Yes. Thank you.